Welcome to Duke Devil 95. My name is Brad Burnett, and today I'm talking about the third episode of Season 3 of The Mandalorian. This week's episode of The Adventures of Mando and Grogu in space is entitled The Convert, and it picks up right where we left off on the last episode on the shores of the living waters of the Mines of Mandalore. Bo-Katan has dragged Mando out of the water. He comes to consciousness and realizes, I've redeemed myself. So he gathers some water in a vial to prove that he's been in the water, and it's time for him to go because he's going to go back and get redeemed in front of his clan, the Children of the Watch. On the way out, Bo-Katan asks, did you happen to see anything down in the water? Anything at all? Anything living? Like a mythosaur. She doesn't say mythosaur, but that's the implication. Mando's like, no, I didn't see anything. All right. So they head back to Kavala, and on the way back, they're attacked by a bunch of TIE interceptors out of nowhere. Bo thinks they're after her because of some raid she's done on some Imperial warlords. They go down to the planet. Since there's 6 or 7 of them, it's tough for them to fight them off. So Mando jumps out, gets into the best starfighter that any bounty hunter could want because it fits so many bounties in it, an N1 Naboo starfighter. He jumps out, gets into it, and starts taking out some TIE interceptors himself. And you know what? It's a decent scene. I always like a good Star Wars, starfighter fight. And this isn't bad. It's in canyons and everything. It's good action. It's well paced. It's kind of enjoyable for the Mandalorian. They're able to fend off those TIE fighters, take 6 of them out, so they think they're all good. They head back to the castle, and what happens? A bunch of TIE bombers take out Bo-Katan's castle, blow the whole thing up, and she's not happy about it, so she starts chasing them down. And then at that point, Mando sees another dozen or so TIE interceptors coming in. He knows they can't take them, so they head out of the atmosphere and jump to hyperspace. And where do they go? They go to the hiding place where the Children of the Watch have been. That's where they were in the first episode, where we met the giant space gator that attacked them during the ceremony. Mando and Bo-Katan arrive, and they're not welcome because they're both apostates. They are no longer Mandalorians in the eyes of the Children of the Watch. And Mando says, I have redeemed myself. I have bathed in the living waters of the Mines of Mandalore. Paz Vizsla eventually lets him in, and they go talk to the armorer. He provides her the vial with the living water. She tests it, and lo and behold, it is in fact the living waters. And she says, Din Djarin, you are redeemed. You are once again a Mandalorian. And then, surprise, surprise, she says, Bo-Katan, you are now a member of our clan as well. And Bo-Katan's like, but I don't follow the way. And she says, the armorer says, have you bathed in the living waters? And Bo goes, yes. Have you taken off your helmet? No. Well, now you walk the way, and as long as you want to stay with us, you can. So it's a very, scene where everyone's welcoming Din Djarin back. They're welcoming Bo to the clan. And I would imagine the look on her face would be surprise, but, she's got her helmet on. And that's the end of this episode. It's nice 12-minute episode of The Mandalorian, where it's the Mandalorian story for only 12 minutes. And it's actually rather tight. I like the fact they didn't waste a lot of time with extraneous stories. We got right to the point. Like I said before, this is Mando's RPG game. He had a quest. He got an NPC member to join his party with Bo-Katan. Together they accomplished their goal and returned, and now quest is over. Now, is there going to be another quest? Who knows? But for now, this quest is done. It was tied up pretty quick. Nice and neat. Things that I did not like, still don't like, the multicolored armor. Beskar is sort of a silver color, so I guess everyone's just putting their own little flavor of color on it, like Flare in Office Space, I guess. It's weird. It doesn't look like a united clan to me. I guess we're never going to see any faces again. We may never see Katie Sackhoff's face again. I don't even know if she and Pedro Pascal are actually on set. They're doing voice work right now, as far as I can tell. So we may never see them again. But you know what, Disney? Maybe that's a good way to save money. Just saying, things aren't looking so good for you guys. Last thing I thought about this week was Grogu does not talk still. He gurgled a little bit this episode. He babbled a little bit. But, Yoda species is supposed to live to, upwards of 900 years. So humans, can live to the 80s and 90s. So if we take the 0 off the 900, we get a 90. Grogu is around 50 to 55. If we take that last digit off, he's about 5.5 years old. 5.5-year-old human kids talk all the time. They're a little precocious and they definitely get around better. So I don't know if there's something wrong with Grogu up in his head. I don't know if something messed with him during the years he was missing. Regardless, it's a tight episode, quick to the point, and it's all done. So it's probably the least offensive to me. It is what it is. Still not thrilled, but I do appreciate the shortness of the episode. Well, until next time, questions, comments, witticisms down below. Click all the good like buttons, click the subscribe, and click the share, and I'll see you next time. What the fuck? Why are you here? Why are you still here? The review's done. I reviewed The Mandalorian. It's over. Oh, okay. I got it. You were paying attention and you realized that actually this week's episode was 54 minutes long. And I just said that the Mandalorian episode that I reviewed was 12 minutes long because I reviewed the Mandalorian story. You see, there's 40 whole other minutes of this episode not involving the Mandalorian. Who's involved in this? Well, there's this guy. Who is this? This is Dr. Pershing. He was the cloning doctor who was trying to do some experiments on Grogu. And then there's this woman. Do you know who she is? I didn't remember her. Guess her name is Lieutenant Kane and she was on Moff Gideon's ship. Well, that's it. It's now their story. So we got 40 whole minutes more of episode to talk about. Holy crap. So now we're on Coruscant and we see the old, the opera house from Revenge of the Sith, but there's no bubble opera going on here. In fact, what it looks like is Dr. Pershing is going through a struggle session, explaining all the wrongs he did when he intended to do right, but he was corrupted by the Empire. But now he's so glad he's gone through his re-education and is trying to be a helpful citizen to the New Republic. He thanks everybody for giving him this opportunity and he'll try to do better. He meets with some of the elite of Coruscant as he leaves, and then he goes back to his nice governmental housing where all the other re-educated former Imperials live. He runs into a bunch of them, and who's there with Lieutenant Kane, who he recognizes from Moff Gideon's ship. There's some talk about what they missed during the Empire. All he says is he missed certain ration bars. Well, what happens? He gets some ration bars. Wonder who gave those to him. Anyway, so Dr. Pershing is in a very low-level functionary job. His job is to catalog all sorts of former Imperial equipment that is being sent for destruction. Because you see, it's part of the de-imperialization program. We're getting rid of anything Imperial, even if it's good. He goes on a tour with Lieutenant Kane of Coruscant, starting to get used to just living in this city because he's never been here before. He talks about his former work. He meets with his droid social counselor to make certain he's still doing the right things and is not reverting to any old Imperial ways. Eventually, Dr. Pershing realizes that he would much prefer going back to his old research, and he thinks he can be helpful to the New Republic. He thinks there's some part of his research that could be used to help people. And if he could convince the New Republic of that, he could continue his research, but he doesn't have any equipment. So he and Lieutenant Kane talk about getting equipment. And she tells him, I have a plan. Why don't you meet with me and we'll go see if we can get some equipment for you. So they walk out, go to what appears to be a train station, hop on a train and go to a certain location. Of course, there's a little bit of trouble on the train since some ticket droids are walking around trying to collect tickets and they just sort of snuck on the train. So they get to the end of the train where there's no more train, but they jump off. And where are they? Exactly where they need to be. An Imperial, destruction depot where they're reclaiming all the Imperial equipment and destroying it. There's a giant Star Destroyer there, and that's where they're going to find the equipment that they need for Dr. Pershing to restart his lab. They're able to get onto the old Star Destroyer. He finds all the equipment he needs, and he's very excited. He's finally going to be able to restart his research and help the New Republic, because that's what he wants to do. On the way out, they're not alone, apparently. Someone's there. So they got to quickly get the heck out of Dodge. They start running out, and lo and behold, a giant spotlight falls down on them. A bunch of New Republic soldiers show up, hold guns at them. You're under arrest. But you know who's not under arrest? Lieutenant Kane. Yep, that's right. She turned him in. So he suddenly realized that he's been betrayed, and he's being taken off to some location. Now, where's this location he's going to? Well, appears to be some sort of lab. And he's tied down to a bed of some sort with a Mon Calamari technician standing above him. Lieutenant Kane is in a room outside watching everything go down. And suddenly he realizes, oh my God, I'm in a mind flayer. No, it's not the mind flayer you're thinking of. Not that one. This mind flayer. You see, this is the one that they hook up to your brain to sort of Swiss cheese it, make it all go away. And he's like, no, I don't want this. I know what it's going to do. Please don't take my mind. And the Mon Calamari is like, hey, it's okay. We know this could be dangerous, but we found a way to make it nice and therapeutic. You're going to see a bunch of nice lights. We're going to, let you relax a little bit, put good thoughts in your mind. You're not going to have any of those bad Imperial thoughts anymore. And he's just like, no. He literally looks at the Mon Calamari and goes, I didn't mean for this to happen. She did this. It was a trap. Yes, he tells the Mon Calamarian it was a trap. So he's about to undergo not the mind flayer, but just sort of a gentle reorganization of the synapses. And you can see he's enjoying it. He's seeing some nice colors and everything. Now on the outside in the waiting room, Lieutenant Kane is like, do you mind if I stay and watch? Because I'm sort of concerned. He's my friend. I feel bad. And the other technician's like, that's fine. You go ahead and watch your friend. Well, she's not really going to watch, because what she then does is go to the control panel. And as they said in Spinal Tap, turn it up to 11. And it doesn't look like it's nice, shiny, pretty lights that he's experiencing. Oh no. Yeah, his mind's getting fried. And what's Lieutenant Kane just doing? Look in there. Having a bite of one of those tasty ration biscuits. And that's the end of this episode of The Clone Doctor. So, what is going on with this show? That's a damn good question. And honestly, I don't think I'm the only one thinking that way, because guess what? Even CNN has noticed, as their article here says, the Mandalorian is experiencing an identity crisis in more ways than one. This article actually goes on to talk about how it's sort of been flailing around and then drifts off into some tangential story about this peripheral character. CNN is even saying it. Jeez, what the hell is going on? I think the question is really, why are we here with this story? Is there going to be a tie-in in the future? That'd be the only way this makes sense. Because otherwise, it seems like some of those backdoor pilots we used to see back in the day. Maybe you remember when The Office was on, they were thinking about doing a pilot based off Dwight Schrute and his family. They had a whole episode which is just not good, introducing you to a bunch of Dwight's family we've never seen before. I mean, we know Moe's, but there's more, and they were weird too. It was just not a good episode, and thankfully that wasn't picked up. But it's not the first time. On Arrow, back when Arrow was good, they introduced Barry Allen, who of course later go on to a show, The Flash, sort of a backdoor pilot there as well. There's no way this is gonna be a backdoor pilot, but that's how it felt like. And it's just like, this was 40 minutes of what? And it's just, my impressions honestly were, first off, the New Republic is awful. They're freaking awful. They're apparently putting ex-Imperial officers in re-education camps sticking them into a device which is not called a mind flayer, and reorganizing their brain. Um, yeah, that's kind of horrific. They're keeping them all in these designated housing zones. They're making them go out and admit their crimes publicly. Um, they're taking equipment and destroying it. I understand. They're like, look, we don't want any Imperial equipment. Okay, that's fine. But be rational about it. What if there's some giant plague on some planet somewhere just raging out of control and is threatening to just tear through the galaxy and kill trillions of people? But the only cure was based on Imperial technology. Well, gosh darn it, we destroyed that. It just doesn't make any sense. Certainly there's some stuff they can use. It doesn't really seem like something the New Republic would be doing if it's based on the principles of democracy, that it was trying to be, going back to the style of the old Republic. I don't know. Is Leia really busy raising Ben right now before he goes off the deep end? Jeez. Yeah. And Lieutenant Kane is not good as an actress, I think. She was very flat and affected, but you know what? You want to see another fine example of her work? Go back and watch Ant-Man and the Volume Mania, because she was girl boss there too. And she's also kind of dark. Did she just do that for fun because she thinks that's what the New Republic wants? There's two options for her. Either she's a double agent still working for Moff Gideon who may or may not have escaped. Who knows what Gus Fring has done? Or she's actually working for the New Republic, which means the New Republic is kind of like, yeah, go ahead, do this. Mess that guy's mind up because we got to destroy anything he knows about cloning technology. Wow. Yeah. I've watched this episode 3 times. I like pain, I guess. I watched it when it first came on. Then I watched it to analyze and see, what I could actually pick apart from it. And then I watched it with my girlfriend, and even she's like, what was the purpose of this? When a normie is like, I don't know what's going on with this show anymore. This is lost. It's off the track. Yeah. It just, y'all waited too long. The Grogu specialty of this is all gone. There's no more merch. No one's selling toys. Ratings are terrible. We gonna have Luke show up again? Maybe. I don't know. Ezra Bridger gonna come in out of nowhere? I don't know. There's probably got to be some cameo somewhere. I think there's 8 episodes. It's gonna be a slog. Okay. Now I'm actually done. I'm leaving this time. Questions, comments, witticisms down below. Click like, click share, click subscribe, and I'll see you next time.